People think that entrepreneurship is all about the business.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. Once you know yourself, who you are, what do you want, what you already know within yourself, you will definitely be successful. That I guarantee you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Personal Development for Entrepreneurs. As usual, I'm here with my mentor and good friend, Dr. Venga. Today, we are separated by time and space, not by time, by space actually, because of the MCO. Otherwise, we'll be together. Good evening, Venga.
Good evening, Ikram, and all of you. Good evening. And when those of you who have just celebrated Thai Pusam, a happy Thai Pusam.
Happy Thai Pusam.
Yeah.
So today's topic is the essential ingredients for planning your day. And this is one area where I can guarantee you that Venga is an expert. He's made my days much better. And I'm excited to be talking about this topic and having him share this with all of you. So, Dr. Venga, what is the essential ingredients for planning your day? What are we going to start with today?
Okay. I think before we get into the essential part of it, first we got to try to understand human. We are human. I hope we are all human. Okay. And animals. Okay. We must accept the fact that science says that we evolved. How and all that, I'm not here to discuss that one. Neither do I want to name people who have made that, but we have evolved. But one thing that we all must understand, and this is a fact, science a fact, okay? That is, we still have in our brain the reptilian part of the brain. One part of it is still reptilian. Mm-hmm. And then when we evolved and came about, we began to develop our brain. The interconnection of the brain to the entire 50 to 100 billion cells. Each cell has an energy, has a cell, and we began to improve it and improve it and improve it. And that's why we have arrived in the 21st century, 21, with an enormous power. When you see children learning how to use computer at the age of 3 and 5, all this part of the development of the brain. But having said that, we must understand we still have the reptilian brain. In the reptilian brain, if you look at an animal, they have a very simple life. They are born, they eat well, and they produce well. These are the three things. They are born, they eat well, and they produce. Then their life is over. Nothing more.
Yep.
So we as humans, we have developed emotion, thinking, memory, all sorts of things we have developed. And this is the responsibility of the brain. This is what in developing the brain, we have, and almost every single human being is as good, if not better, than the other. But each human is an individual. You cannot replicate it because each one developed its own brain. And we are still developing it. But because we are human, because the animal got 1, 2, 3, as a human, we have choice. And because we have choice, we must also accept that every time we take a choice or make a choice, we must become responsible for it. We have forgotten responsibility.
Yep.
We have totally forgotten responsibility. And adding to that is that in our haste to develop our own brain and ourselves and all that, we have used a lot of our memories, which we started collecting from our five senses. When our five senses, we collected it, and what we did was we expanded on it. So we have billions and billions and billions of records of things that have happened in our life, memories. We have stored them in proper places, and we know how to retrieve them whenever necessary and use them in this way. So memories we have. Then added to the memory, we also have something called imagination. We imagine a lot of things. And in this imagination, with the memory, we think we are in control of everything in the world. And that's why what you explained to me about that Sapien, the book Sapien, why don't you elaborate on that? That makes a little sense here.
Sure. So I was watching a program where Yuval Noah Harari was giving a talk. He's the author of *Sapiens* and a few other really good books. He was saying that we are the only creatures. He was saying why we've evolved the way we have and we are in control of the world. One of the things was that we're the only creatures that have an imagination. Animals don't. And our imagination causes us to live in a physical world and an imaginary world. The physical world that animals see, everything that you can see, touch, and feel. We have another world which is concepts, stories that we've been fed. So things like money. Money is not real. There's no value in that paper. If I took a paper, put $1 on it, and gave it to you, and said that this is worth $1, unless you believe that and you can imagine this concept, you won't be able to accept. A chimpanzee will never accept $1 in exchange for its banana. You can barter banana for banana or an apple for banana, but never money. This is a concept only human beings are able to understand. Then you have countries. If you were to fly up, you cannot pinpoint where is Malaysia, where is Singapore, because there's no borders. All these are not real things you see. It just lives in our imagination, and it is so real. You talk about Malaysia, you talk about Singapore, like it's real, you see, but in the physical world, there's no border. It's just a concept that lives in our mind. So yeah, we live in the real world and an imaginary world.
Exactly, absolutely. So absolutely. Fantastic. You see, that's why, as a human, planning is not in our brain. We don't even understand what is planning because our imagination doesn't talk about planning. Our imagination makes us imagine on the data that we ourselves have absorbed through our five senses. When you read, when you see a picture, we absorb that. Using the same data, we begin to have an illusion, imagination, which is not real. That is exactly what it is. In this imaginary world, with all the memories you've collected, we fool ourselves to think that we are still a reptile. In the sense that if danger comes, I know how to protect myself. If something goes wrong, I know how to fix it. We live in this imaginary world, not the real world. Mm-hmm. The real world requires you to look at it that I have only a day, one day at a time. That's what I have. And in that 24 hours, I have only 16 wake hours in which I have to do certain things. That's why when I sat down to develop this planner some 40, 50 years ago, I thought of it in 20-minute sections. By 20, everything you do, you need 20 minutes. If you need to listen to that 20 minutes thing, please go to my website, ventrex.com.my, www.ventrex.com.my. Okay. Sorry, is that the website? I think
yes. Ventrex.com.my.
You go to my website, there you have a 2-year program that I ran together with Bernama Radio, talking about the 20 minutes, essentially how to control 20 minutes and then go on to control the 16 hours. Now, planning is not it is not in our frame. We, as a little child growing up, we have no idea about planning. We just grew. We went to school and then we grew and grew. And then we went to university, we grew and grew. And then we are programmed from the time you're born, go to school, from school, go to university, from university, come back to the factory and work as a factory worker. Whether you work as a clerk, manager, otherwise, you are going into the factory. That's it. But the reptilian brain prevents us. It wants to be free. It wants to do what it wants to do. But the reptilian brain is the one that controls our ability to plan, our ability to think ahead. We can handle anything because we are still that animal. If somebody want to bite me up, I will kill it first. That's why we have this is a responsibility. We as humans have not accepted responsibility. Who is destroying the world today? Is it the uneducated one or the educated one that is destroying the world? It's the educated one that is destroying the world. You know it, I know it. You got to accept it, okay?
Someone, we are the only species that if we went extinct, the world would actually be better.
Yes, absolutely right.
All other animals or insects, if they go extinct, it disrupts the ecology of the universe. But if humans are not there, the world will thrive.
Absolutely. See, this is the key. Now, therefore, if you look at the way I've designed the planner for people to plan and schedule, is to take that 20 minutes. I have calculated and collected data. And in this data, I found that everything that you do will take 20 minutes. Anything, a phone call will take 20 minutes. A small email you want to send, take 20 minutes. Everything that you call activities will take 20 minutes. A task that you got to do will consist of many activities. That will take 90 minutes. So planning is not a human thing. It is not human. We never ever planned for anything. We just went about doing things over and over again. Those who plan their day, those who think about what can go wrong, anticipation, meaning the people attend meeting without even reading what the minutes of the previous meeting, the previous night, or before attending the meeting. They just go there, sit down, and then interact. Because why? We think we are so intelligent, it'll come, it'll come, it'll come. It's there, it'll come. And that's why we are not effective. We are definitely not effective. And that's why, my dear friend, COVID is a very good example of our reptilian brain. You see, we have got this pandemic. You cannot tell me that this did not happen before. In the 1921, it happened 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
What happened? We have forgotten that. And now it has happened again. We don't know how to handle it. And it's mutating. And then you tell me, hey, of course it's mutating what? That's why we can't control it. Hey, my dear friend, have you ever understood that flu vaccine are taken by humans every year? And you have to take 2 injections of flu. One in April, another one in September. Because the virus mutates all the time. That's why you're taking. Common sense will tell you that they will never be able to find a flu vaccine that can keep you for 5 years. Never, isn't it? So now, planning is not a culture of human. Yes, you have to plan. What do you plan? You plan to go to work and do certain things at work. If you don't do it, you'll be sacked. Unless, of course, you work for the government. That also you must work for Malaysian government, then you'll never be sacked.
That is so
work
true.
for anybody else in the world, you will be sacked if you do not produce. only Malaysian government won't sack you, cannot sack you. Yes or not?
Yeah.
If you work in the private, do you know under this condition now, so many people have to leave their job or reduce their salary. All this based on performance, meaning if the company don't earn money, why should it pay you? You understand what I'm saying now? Yeah. So look at it. Huh? So therefore, we have never ever understood planning. My this evening is to try to help you to think of the day as 24 hours. 8 of those hours you cannot make use of, and look at your 16 hours, which is 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. During this frame, okay, what is it that you want to do? You must remove the reptilian part of it and become a human, because you can think and become responsible for yourself, because the responsibility of doing what you want to do, it's yours. Yes, am I ground?
Absolutely.
Your responsibility. How do you do it? I suggest, if you have never ever learned how to plan, this is not about uh, taking out a year calendar and stretching out meeting on every Wednesday and Zoom by the computer, every Wednesday meeting, Zoom. That is not planning. That is not planning. That is fooling yourself. But planning means every single day, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? For each of what you want to do, you allocate 20 minutes. If you are good at it, then allocate, say, an hour. If you are better at it, allocate 90 minutes. And then try to accomplish it. Some people tell me, hey, I cannot imagine how long time it will take. I always tell them, hey, 20 minutes. What can you do in 20 minutes? Oh, I can do only small thing. Okay, put that down and get that done. Once you have understood that, then all the things that you want to do, you can allocate time to get it done on a daily basis. This is the key to how to manage yourself. Because unless you plan, you will not have the ability to use on the spot the accumulation of your memories that will help you decide better, do better. It's your memory that is helping you, but your imagination takes you outside of that realm. The imagination is far more powerful than your memory. This is a fact. That's why we can sit down and dream, imagine. But when coming to doing it, we are lazy to do because it takes a lot of energy to do it. So this is something that you must overcome. The way to get that done is, again, I advise you, please don't overplan, meaning that every 20 minutes you plan. You have, of the 16 hours, if you can plan 60% of what you want to do in 20 minutes slot, you will be a very successful individual. It includes the things that you want to do for your house, your wife, your children, yourself, your hobby, your traveling, all that. If you put it down, you have a lot to accomplish. But yeah,
this is something maybe the audience may have missed. You said plan 60% of your time.
Yes.
40% of your time should be unplanned for.
Unplanned for, that's right.
Okay. Can you explain the rationale behind this?
Okay, because every human cannot predetermine exactly what is going to happen the next hour. You cannot predict what's going to happen. Cannot. You can only plan for it. So when your plan don't work according to what you think or what you plan to do, then you have this spare 40% that you can make use of. You should never plan 40%. If you take 16 hours and 40% of that 16 hours, okay, how many hours is that?
3.2, 4.8, about 6 hours.
Exactly. So you have 6 hours as a spare in case things go wrong. You can handle it. When you do more than 60% planned activities in a day, if you do more, you are bound to fail. Either that or you will not be effective. Because as a human, you will only be effective 4 hours in a day, where you can use 100% of your energy and really do what you want to do. 4 hours. That is not by saying 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. No. It's 20 minutes there, 20 minutes here, maybe 40 minutes here, and 40 minutes there. You're 40 at 4 hours of this, you can do 100% of your energy can be pushed to make it happen. The rest of the time, that means you got 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4, split into 4. On the first, there are 4 hours. These 4 hours can be 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour later in the afternoon, 1 hour in the evening, and 1 more hour in the night. So I have a formula called MAN, morning, afternoon, and night. Okay, try to achieve that. Okay, and you can see that in those hours you're extremely effective. For
When you say try to achieve that, you're saying have 3 goals for a day.
yes,
right?
you're right.
One in the morning, one in the afternoon, one at night.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That
Spend 1 hour on it.
okay. A goal is something that you can say, hey, I've done it. It's not a monetary term. As you said just now, no? Our imagination can take us a while. Let's say, I want to talk to my son. Is that important to you? Yes. I allocate the time. I want to talk to him about certain behavior of his, which he needs to understand. Mm-hmm. So I must find the right time, right place. You plan for it, and you will do it. Okay. And judging on his mood, you might decide, okay, he can only take so much, or something like that. Or you want to talk to your wife about your own marriage, that there is something that's not going right. You want to talk. You also got to allocate time to talk. And when you are ready, she may not be ready. Or when she is ready, you may not be ready. And these are things that you got to consider. That's why unplanned time is put into this. 60% planned, 40% not planned. There are many things can go wrong. So just try to understand that what you're trying to do is to do your very best. But have you taken responsibility that you are responsible for yourself and your own time and the things that you want to do? You must take in charge of that. Otherwise, you will blame the whole world. The traffic is the reason why I can't make it on time. The reason why I can't is COVID is the reason why I can't produce this. COVID is the time that I cannot fly. And COVID is the thing because I cannot visit. You can find all the excuses. You find that people all the time, it's easy to blame somebody else or some things, but not yourself. Responsibility comes only when you take it yourself and say, hey, this is my responsibility. This is what I have to do. This is what I want to do. And then you put the plan. Some people tell me this, okay? And I feel sorry for them. They say, hey, when I plan, I feel overcrowded. It's not. You suddenly realize you have a lot to do. But you take one day at a time, slowly accomplishing it, one thing. Look, this is my January plan. I don't know whether you can see it or not. You see, this is my January plan. Can you all see it? Can you all see it? Yeah. Have I accomplished all of it? Yes, I have. I'm now sitting down to look at February in a very closer way. But again, I take also one day, like today, I take just one day. And this evening here, 8 o'clock, talking to you guys, is only one of the things that I got to do. There are other things that I got to do. So I put it in my daily schedule. So I will start off like that and try to make you understand. So it's important that you first get away from your reptilian brain and try to look at it as a human. You're intelligent. You have everything inside you. So to make it happen, I set these simple goals that everybody must do. First, write goal review. A formula which I created some 50, 60 years ago. That whatever I want to do, I want to write it down. I must understand what I'm thinking. That's the first one. I must understand what I am thinking. Otherwise, my thought process is running around and get jumbled up with my memory, my imagination, and a whole lot of things. So my writing is, hey, I got to differentiate all of that. This is what I want to do today. This is what I can possibly do today. This is something very important. Secondly, I set specific things that I must finish. I call that a goal. Specific things that I must finish within the time today. And then the final thing is sit down at the end of the day and say, hey, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. How did I perform? How did I perform? Immediately, when I begin to look at myself and what I have done in a very critical way, I always improve myself. And Ikram can vouch to that. I have spoken on subject planning, but today is totally different again. It's always in me to improve. I want to improve what I do on a daily basis. You can do the same too. Especially now in this pandemic that they're going through. Everything that you do, you got to do it differently. You got to do it better. Look at the way we're using Zoom as a means of communication, including transmitting information. Look at the changes that are taking place. The food that you eat also have changed. In fact, I think now you probably are eating better food than you were before. Okay, yes or no, because you're cooking more yourself. Lots of things you are doing in order to improve. That to me is one of the criteria in which you can use the planning to make yourself effective and better. This is something that you must spend time on. So what is the magic in this? The magic is taking the responsibility that I have only 16 hours a day in which I have to do certain things. And that you must take on the responsibility. Otherwise, a human is no different from an animal. If you want to be a human, you must use the power of the human imagination, the memories that you have gathered, and all the intellectual that you have in order to become a happy person. You become happy only on a daily basis. You set something to do and you achieve it. And when you have finished it, you feel happy. When you have resolved a misunderstanding, you feel happy. When you are able to talk to your children, your wife, your family, whatever that is, and make them understand your thinking and their thinking, and finding to match it. Because not every one of us, even within our own family, can say, you must think like me, do like me, act like me. Cannot. Every human has his or her imagination. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. This is the civilization of human. The sooner we understand. As an Asian, I must tell you, we have come with that civilization who have always behaved like that. We're not the Western civilization. We're going to school and then you get into university and come out and join the factory. Boom. That's it. Your life is get up in the morning, go to work, okay? And then come back home, eat the food, sleep, get disease, and then die. Much more than life, Lana. We have treated life very bad. Are you enjoying your life? I'm 81 years old, by the way. Going 82. Every single day I must enjoy myself. What is enjoyment? Whatever I set out to do, I must do it. Like today is 8 o'clock already. It's very soon will be 9 o'clock. So, okay. I have one of the things that I do is this one. Hey, but tomorrow will be another day. Every single day I set out to do what I can do best. And by doing that, I improve slightly, slightly, slightly. And you know what, my dear friend? Today, during the pandemic, many scientists have come out, including CNN, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, saying that, hey, every day you can improve yourself. There's a book that he has just published it. Go and read it also. Okay? He's saying that we have, as a human, we have the possibility of improving on a daily basis just by doing simple things. Like simple thing, exercise as an example. Simple thing, exercise. And he is talking about what I talked about every day, which is walk around your block, stretch a little bit. That's what he's talking about. And that alone can improve your brain power and make you better and better. Responsibility. You understand?
Yep.
Do you understand this? Yes, Ikram.
So if I had to summarize the essential ingredients for planning your day, correct me if I'm wrong, the first step is to take responsibility for the 16 hours in a day. And I think you make a very clear distinction here. Everyone will tell you, you have, until I met you, everywhere, all the literature I've read is you have 24 hours in a day. You are the first person I know who've told me that, you have 16 hours in a day because you've taken out the sleep, right? That's very practical. So take responsibility for that. You only have 16 hours. And then the next thing is to realize that you only have 4 productive hours in a day.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you
yeah.
plan what you want to achieve in the morning, afternoon, and night or evening.
Yes.
So you've got 3 sections for these 4 hours. And write goal review. Write what is it you want to achieve, have a goal for the day.
Yes.
At the end of the day, review it.
Yes.
And the final thing, so there's 4 things here. The final thing is don't overplan. Plan only 60% of your day, the time. Leave another 40% for emergencies.
Yes. Even for people who have a defined job to do, even in your job, which is like a school teacher or whatever, okay, somebody that going to a hospital to work in the hospital, you must remember that only 60% of your day you can plan. Of that 8 hours you have, if I take 60%, okay, that is what you can plan. 40%, leave it loose because things will not happen the way you want it to happen.
Correct.
Correct enough. You see, like in a working life, plan about 6 hours. And then your 2 hours, don't plan. So it's not so difficult. No? Oh, but Venga, I don't know when the customer will be there and all that. That means you don't know your customer. Try to find out a little bit more about your customer. And then you can allocate time, what to do, what needs to be done, isn't it? So you can find excuses why you cannot do what you want to do. But my view is, do it, Lana. Check it, Lana.
I think many people think that planning restrains them from doing, because we all want to just straight get into the activity and start doing what we think of very impulsively. But you've mentioned this, and it's a famous quote. Even Abraham Lincoln said this: give me 6 hours to chop a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe.
Yes, correct, absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot more time.
Do you know why, Ikram? It's because of the reptilian brain in us. Because it's the start of our brain. It is there, it is even now there. No? So it always talks about, it is designed in such a way that I eat, okay? I look for food, okay? I eat well, I look for food, okay? And then I reproduce. Simple life. And I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat tomorrow. Wait, when I'm hungry, Then I'll see what's around. See, this is how. And we adopt that in our life. Hey, Sarah, Sarah, whatever shall be, will be. What a
Venga, we have less than 5 minutes. Do you want to wrap up?
well, my views are simple. I'm 81 years old and going to be 82. It's like this. We all want to have a happy life. Now, you can define your happiness, define it. What makes you happy? And if you understand that, if you read the book, are you feeling happy or you're fed up reading the book? Like I know 100% of all of you, with the exception of few, hate to go to school. You hate to go to school because of the structured system of school. Learn A, B, C, D, write 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Okay? All that was geared not for life, but to make you a factory worker. Today, education is slowly changing, and they're allowing children to grow by themselves. Because they have done it, you have many, many things that has happened in the last 60, 70 years. From .com success to handphone to I don't know what else, because people were able to explore their own ability and then create products and services. That is continue to go on. And this is not part of education. This is part of the development of the human being. We have that. If that makes you happy, carry on. But every single day, you need to be happy. How can you be happy? You can only be happy if you don't regret, I should have done that. I should have done that today. I should have done this. I should have already gone, finished. So our regret pulls us back. Our happiness pushes us forward. So you see what I'm saying? Every time you do something, you're happy, you achieve it, you go forward. The moment you, I should have gone and seen my mother. I should have done that. Oh, I should have. So you regret, it regresses you back. So what is bothering you? It's your reptilian brain that is always, jumping around and doing this, doing other things. It doesn't allow you, or some people think we have this intellectual brain. And the way to be intellectual is to be busy running around inside our head. You understand? People tell me this. Let me share this with you. People tell me that many people are feeling depressed staying at home and not going out to meet their friends and shopping and eating food. And they said, I'm like a prison. In all my life, from the time I was born, from the age of 4 till March of 2020, I have never stayed in my home for a week. I'm always out doing one thing or another. These 11 months, including this month, including last month, January, okay, 11 months, I have enjoyed the best part of my life because I suddenly realized that being myself, doing the things that, that allows me to do, not running around, suddenly I feel extremely happy that every single day I'm able to have a deserved sleep much better than even before. I feel happy that I'm alone, that I begin to understand even my own home as an example, my garden example, my wife example, my children example. So many things I begin to see in a different light because I don't feel depressed. I'm so happy that this can go on, but I know you all don't like it. You want to go out? Yes, okay. But I'm telling you, I've been very, very happy and satisfied. If you need to talk to me about this, hey, get in touch with me. Zoom me or something like that. I can always talk to you about how to make your day very productive.
You can always PM us on our Facebook page. So just drop us a direct message, and Venga or myself will reply as soon as we can. All right, that's it. We have to wrap. Venga, thank you so much. It has been very informative. Just to remind everyone, there's 4 rules. Take responsibility for 16 hours in a day. Have you only going to have 4 productive hours in a day. So have a goal for the morning, afternoon, and night. Every day, just plan to achieve these 3 things. Write, goal, and review. Write what you want to do, put it as a goal for the day, and at the end of the day, review what you've achieved. And finally, don't overplan. Plan only 60% of your day, leave the other 40% for emergencies. With that, I'm going to say good night. Thank you very much for joining us today. Our next personal development for entrepreneurs is happening on March 3rd. It's the same time, 8 p.m. as usual, and it's on a Wednesday as always. Before I say goodbye, we won't be seeing you all until after Chinese New Year. So happy Chinese New Year to all of you who are celebrating.